Hello, Miss Liane. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Mindy.
Well, thank you. Welcome to Call the Nurse podcast. And I'm so excited.
I feel like you're the first nurse to ever come out with a podcast. Like you are just breaking down
I'm
walls.
hoping so.
Like,
You know what I love is that you kind of have already like called the nurse and the surgeon when we were neighbors. Remember that?
yeah.
Whether it come your dad or, your brother-in-law, broken finger, calling us and doing some medical emergencies. So it's kind of fun.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, today we have Liane V. She is a content creator, entrepreneur, entertainer, but more importantly, a mom,
A mommy.
wife, a daughter, and an incredible friend to so many.
Thank
And
you.
I remember meeting you for the first time and falling in love with both you and Dawn, really your whole family, because I didn't really know the social media. I'm a little bit older, but that you guys were so warm. You came into the neighborhood and came to us and introduced yourself. And you've always had that spirit. So I've always loved that about you. So I'm so grateful to have you on today in a bit of a different um, platform with this Call the Nurse podcast. So thank you. Thank you again.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome. No, I feel like I'm the luckiest person to have you as our neighbor because me and Don always talk about, oh my gosh, I hope the neighbors are nice and they're welcoming because you guys know having horrible neighbors is like,
Yes.
it's a
Yes.
nightmare.
Yes,
So you
absolutely.
guys are such a blessing. You and Alon have been such great people in our life. And again, like Alon did my dad's surgery and, my dad's up and walking like he got some
Yeah.
new knees.
He's
So
ready to dance.
yes.
Yes. Well, it
So
was
we're
very
grateful in so many different ways.
well, we just really treasure you guys. And it was very devastating when, we moved. And I've been really glad that we've been able to keep that connection.
Honestly, I still feel like you guys are across the
Yeah,
street in my head.
absolutely.
In my mind, I still feel like you're still there.
I see your parents sometimes and I love it. So I want to talk
Yes.
to you about a few things today because you are so talented and you have so many things going on. One of the things I've always really admired about you is how you're able to balance so much. And I know you may not always feel that, but can you take me back on kind of this journey? I remember, again, first meeting you, and it was, oh, the social media influencer. Everybody at the hospital knew who you were. Like especially my Filipino coworkers, everybody knew who Liane V was. And
That's
they were like, oh,
awesome.
she dances with her dad. And it was started on Vine. So you are such an amazing family woman. And I know that family really is number one to you. I'm curious, how did this start? Like, why did you start dancing on this platform? It's obviously you're an entertainer, but why with Papa V, your dad?
Yeah.
How did this all start? And were you surprised when it blew up?
I started doing Vine, I would say 2013, I would say, but I've always had a dream moving to LA and pursuing acting, modeling, singing, dancing, all of those things, because social media was not where it is today.
Right.
So it wasn't even an option. I didn't think this was going to be a career for me. But I knew a couple people that were in social media and they were doing so well for themselves on YouTube. Shout out to Daystorm Power. I always have to
Yes,
bring him
we
up
love
because
Daystorm.
he has really helped guide my career when it comes to just understanding social media with the
Mhm.
consistency and the video editing and the content creating. And I was just so passionate trying to create my own following just because I knew that I didn't have to wait on an agency
Right.
or get anyone's approval or acceptance. I felt like I could just create my own platform that's going to build my own following and really have this connection with my community and be a voice for the Filipinos. And I
Oh,
feel for our culture, we are all about family. We are all
yes.
about coming together. And me and my parents, like, we're such a tight family where I feel like I get all my inspiration from them. So coming down to my dad doing content with him was not new because growing up we did karaoke all the time. So we were
Oh my
singing and
goodness.
dancing. And my dad used to own he owned a nurse registry, which my mom was a nurse, and then
Hey, I
very
knew your mom was
Filipino.
a nurse. I didn't know he owned a nurse registry.
Yes,
Interesting. Wow.
very Filipino. And then they also owned a DJ company, so we would just perform at parties and do celebrations. So when it started doing social media with like content and stuff, it was so easy for us to come together and film. Like my dad would be down to dance, my mom would help me film. They are my team, and still till this day they are my team. So it started from there, and then when I moved to LA, again, I met a few different people in the social media space, and Vine started. And within 6 months, I accumulated 1 million followers, which overflowed to all my other platforms. And
Wow.
all I did was post. We were hustling. Like I was working multiple different jobs. The last job that I was working before I transferred straight into social media was a car dealership. I was selling cars, and I
How
was
did I
selling.
not know this?
I don't
You
really talk
maybe need
about
to go
it.
work for AB Chevy, just a little
I
side
know,
gig,
really.
right?
I was literally working Monday through Friday selling cars, and on the weekends, I was a backup singer for another artist. So I would be touring, I would be singing, I would be dancing, and then I would fit Vine videos in between all my breaks. So I would be performing, and then I would do Vine videos. I would be selling cars, and on my break, I'd go to Daystorm's
Wow.
house and shoot content with all of the creators that are huge creators today, like Daystorm Power, King
Yes.
Batch, Hannah Stalking, all of our friends that we
Yes.
started Vine with grew, and everyone, it all started there.
Right.
And it's amazing to see how everyone really just followed their career and their passions through the platform of Vine and Instagram, and the blessings that we've been able to enjoy and connect with. It's just been so amazing to see the success that it's brought us. But it all started with that, just us coming together. Collaboration is key. I feel like we all really supported each other. It's important to have a good circle of friends that understand and also want to be a part of your vision and support you. Even if you don't, for any creators out there that don't have that kind of support,
Yes.
you, like I had my dad, and my
Right.
mom. Or
Right.
even you can even connect with one person, even if I don't have a lot of followers, I have like 10 followers. Like that's a lot if you think
Yeah.
about it. It's
Yes.
if you can connect with one person already, that's gonna multiply through time and
Right.
consistency and being authentic and being yourself. So I feel like my goal was to just continue trying to be as transparent and real with my audience. And I just started seeing everything just multiply and grow as you continue to just be consistent with what you want. So whatever your passion is, you can turn it into a career. Like if you want to be a fitness trainer, you just do fitness content. If
Yes.
you are a chef, do cooking content.
Right.
So for me, like I think my problem was I always like to do too many things. So I had to try to narrow down and figure out what would be my, favorite lane or lanes, like maybe top three. So now I focus on family, I focus on um, beauty, fashion, family, lifestyle.
Right.
Everyone likes to know everything about you on social media, like what color socks do you wear? What's your favorite breakfast food? Like what kind of coffee do you get?
I love
And
it.
I've noticed like the more real and honest you are, people can relate and connect.
Yes.
So pretty
Absolutely.
much, yeah, that's how it got from here to there. But I mean, there's a lot of things in between. But
Sure.
long story short, for social media, that's pretty much how it started.
Well, you have done such a great job. I think even with Papa V, I was hearing how like one of your videos went viral and then everything just kind of went from there. And he's so entertaining and funny. And it's funny that you say like, oh, I was trying to do too many things because when I think of you, you're like the best party planner. You're like the best makeup girl. I've
Thank
learned so
you.
much. I've had these parties and I met my makeup artist, Nicole, from you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I feel like Alon and I were like this older ones, and then we're like, well, what would Don and Liane do? Let's see who they have. You've like really taught us to like kind of be cool and have like
Oh
really
my gosh,
parties.
no, you guys are so cool. I feel like you guys are teaching us to also balance work and life. That's what we really are inspired by you guys. Because when I see your Instagram going on trips and enjoying your downtime, you guys are traveling. Like that's what me and Don also aspire to have, because sometimes social media, you can be so consumed in
Yes,
working that you forget
yes,
to balance that happiness of just having a vacation, having your
absolutely.
us time, date nights. So that's also the transition we had to learn and balance with this family of living with our parents because our parents live here and his mom lives here. So like we
Everybody.
have to know when we have our time off our phones or just me
Yeah.
and him date night. Like it's truly important to know how to structure that.
Absolutely. And you did a post the other day. I think I even messaged you when you did. I think you got a lot of feedback because I think people do want real and raw. When you talked about social media and how we can get caught up in the how people looks and the outfits and the parties and like you said, the travel. And that's really what inspired me to do this podcast because I was at work one day and somebody was like, "Oh, well, your Instagram is just fabulous what you and your husband are always doing. You know, my friend is so jealous." And I don't know, it kind of bothered me a little bit. Like at that time I was really struggling with my daughter and I thought, "Oh my gosh, people
Mhm.
have no clue, what's going on." And not that
Yeah,
we're these influencers, but I just sometimes we get these snapshots of social media that
yeah,
people really don't know. And some of it's none of their business, but it did make me feel like, what, I want to talk about some real stuff in real
that
time
you're going through.
that I'm
Yeah.
going through. I mean, and you guys have been there. You've watched us go through so much, just from being neighbors, and you guys have been great friends. But, there's this concept in the hospital we call an RRT. Have you ever heard of an RRT?
No,
No.
I have
It's a
not.
rapid response team. And
Okay.
this is something to where when a patient is not doing well, we call a rapid response team and we go assess the patient, your critical care nurses, and
Mhm.
we try to keep them from a code blue, stopping breathing, their heart stopping. And I feel like what you have in your home is really a built-in rapid response team. Now, granted, I'm sure parents aren't going to be the ones who kind of tend to you all the time, but if you think about when we're burned out or we're down or we're discouraged, to keep
Mhm.
us from getting completely drained, we need something. We need
Right.
certain people. And maybe it's family for some issues, maybe it's our husbands, or maybe it's our friends. But I love how you've been able to. I don't know how if I could have my in-laws or my live with me. I know
Yeah.
you've always been family, family. I mean, that is something when I think of Liane, I think family. That is your heart, your soul. How does this work? How do you have your family under one roof? How is it having your own rapid response team under your roof? Is it good? Is it bad? What is the real story here, having everybody? I'm sure it's a blessing, right? Because you're able to
Mhm.
do that.
Yeah.
How did this come about, and do you recommend it?
I think to each his own. Everyone has their own way of finding their peace and their own boundaries and their own space. And it takes a type of person that can have a very open mind and a very patient person that is willing to work through different personalities under one household. So, because I mean, it's not for everyone, and that's okay.
Yes.
For me, I I've always been the daughter that just always wanted to be around people, always wanted to be around family. I slept in my parents' bed till I was 13 years old. Like I'm so close and tight with them. And I knew that I already had a vision of once I started having my own family, I wanted to move my mom and dad in with me.
Mhm.
Not only because there are built-in babysitters,
Yes.
but
That's
but
another rapid response right there.
but I just love them being around me. I get this comfort, and I'm very blessed to have such amazing supportive parents. And of course, there are ups and downs, especially with in-laws. You think about our family culture, and then also Don,
Mhm.
he's African American.
Mm.
His dad has passed, but his mother is here. So she is here with us. And it's interesting because their life and their whole upbringing is so different from ours,
Yes.
so having two different worlds come
Yes.
together,
Two
it
cultures
was,
too, right? Two
yes, two
cultures.
cultures, two different lifestyles, two different like just it's just such a interesting mix, but a lot of it, can be worked through therapy, through counseling, through communication, through understanding. It's like it took so much because again, we're so different, but I feel like when the foundation is love and you know that that person, you know, in their heart means well. It's like this is what I talk to Mama J all the time because me and her, Dawn's mother, we call her Mama J. So everyone's like Mama V, Papa
And
V, Mama
I
J.
love Mama
So
J.
we
She's
have
one of
all
my
the
favorite
nicknames,
people.
and I think that the most important part is communication and learning to communicate even when it's uncomfortable. And
Yes,
that's with any relationship, with
yes,
any friendship, and it's always harder when you live with that person. So yes, there is drama, there's ups and downs, but we work through it through communication. We have our weekly talks where we all come together, and it is hard because at the same time we're already dealing with our own emotional changes and our, me being pregnant, all my hormones and everything. Like there's always something going on within ourselves that it's hard to battle when you see someone else having a bad day or when they
yes,
may be feeling away and miscommunication. And there's so many things. But again, it's what you want to tolerate or what you are willing to live with
yes,
because it's a choice. And I told Dawn, I said, this is the choice that we made. These are the consequences. These are the blessings.
yes,
Let's weigh out what we want for our life.
right.
And there are times where we're like, let's just like get multiple properties because
Just get a
today
big
I just
compound.
have had it up to here. Or, we're just like sitting out in the backyard, by the fire and we're just laughing. And it's just those moments are so
So
special. And
grateful.
it's those moments that keep us going. And again, it's, like in every family has their challenges, but for me, I think this is the life that I wanted. And Don, I'm grateful that Don was willing to do that as well because he's like, I didn't think I was ever going to
Yes.
move in with my mom, but here I am, and he loves it.
But
I think
that's what I was gonna ask is that it's one thing for you and your culture, and I've been around your family and each of them are amazing. But to have a man who is willing to take on that dream of having, your parents under your under the roof and helping raise, the grandchildren and always being there when
yeah,
that's not something he's used to, and a whole
he loves it. He's like, Mama V's
yeah,
helping me with laundry.
I
She's
know,
helping
and
me
the
make the
food,
bed.
absolutely.
Also, it's because we live in a bigger property. It would be hard if we lived in a smaller
Right.
home. I think everyone needs their space. It
Yes.
just depends on the home. I knew that when we bought this house, this was a house that you can have.
Yeah.
People move in. It's 7 bedrooms. There's enough space for everyone. Like I remember when I was transitioning from my apartment into a home that was like a 3 bedroom home at the time. It was like me and my parents in one apartment, and I literally was like, this, I don't even know if I can do it,
Yeah.
because it's just you're up under that the each other.
Yes.
So I think it just also depends on your home and your living situation. It's just all these different factors,
Yeah.
but this definitely works for us. And again, we work through our problems, we communicate, and it's been great. I think all the ups and a lot of the downs we grew from, and it's been very healing for everybody, honestly.
Yeah.
And we're a very solid, support system to each other. And we enjoy each other's company. And whenever people need their space, we respect everyone's space.
Right. Yeah.
So
Well, I
it's
love
just a
how Mama V and Papa V and Mama J, they all go to lunch together. They go to dinner to
yes,
really embrace each other. And I am sure, like, I know at one point you and Dawn even had, back a long, long time ago, I'm sure even parents then, or it's not always perfect. That's the thing, is like
yeah,
not always perfect. But
yeah.
not only have you guys been able to do it so beautifully, and you mentioned you live in a 7 bedroom home. We lived in this beautiful neighborhood with you guys, but you guys have somehow been able to stay so grounded. I mean, you've watched social media influencers or content creators or entertainers just kind of, go off to the wayside or just not. There's something with you and Dawn and really your whole family. You embrace people. You're so humble. Do you think that comes, obviously, your parents have a lot to do with this, but it seems like
Mhm,
faith, there is some faith in there that
mhm.
kind of roots in there. And how does that kind of whole factor in? How do you stay grounded when you have so many eyes on you and you are successful, both of you to your own right? How do you stay so grounded and so humble? I mean, you really are one of the most humble people I've ever met in my entire life. And
Thank
all
you.
of you are.
Thank you. I just we do have a strong faith foundation. My dad was a pastor. I grew up in a Christian household, Christian school. So I mean, I believe like our beliefs play a really big role in this, and just knowing that all the blessings that we have can be gone in a day. And
Mhm.
I think that also keeps us on our toes and aware of always just being in the place of gratitude,
Mhm.
that things can be gone, like all these material things and opportunities, like we believe that all the blessings come from God.
Mhm.
And again, like things can change in a second,
Yeah.
and even like when I had the flu a
Mhm.
couple months ago, and your health is everything,
Yeah.
all these things that we work hard for and that we, buy a car, buy a house, all these, it doesn't even matter when your health is on the line.
Yeah.
That's why it's great to have friends like you that are nurses that can definitely help us
I know.
through
I'm
these
like,
times.
don't do this. You're pregnant. Oh, don't do this. And we happen to have, one of the same doctors too, which is kind of
But
as well.
yeah, it's just knowing what's truly important in life, which is the love and family and your faith, and everything else is just temporary. Yeah,
Right.
all these amazing achievements and the success that everyone's definition of success is different, but to us, it's family, it's love, it's
Yeah.
our support with each other, our community. So I think when you have that perspective in life, it just doesn't really change you. You just always want to do better and be a better person for yourself and for everyone around you. So I think that's what helps us stay grounded. Again,
Mm-hmm.
everything can be gone in a second. So we're just being grateful for today. Today is all we have.
I know. It's so, especially in the world of social media and things like that, right? I mean, anything can change. But when you were sick, and I remember when you were sick, poor thing, did you feel the pressure of like, oh my gosh, like my livelihood is like,
Yeah,
waning. My livelihood is, I'm curious because, again, from the outside, it can look like everything's great. But
right.
you feel that pressure when maybe you're not feeling well or you're fatigued because you're
Yeah,
again and we got a baby boy.
definitely. I mean, I've learned to not be so hard on myself. There were times that I would even be depressed about not showing up for myself
Mhm.
when I'm not 100%. But it's okay to be not 100%. It's okay to have bad days and even talk about it. Like I even shared that on social media that, oh, have the flu, you guys. Do you guys have recommendations on what to take during this pregnancy while I have the flu? So I think just being transparent, it allows me to be comfortable on social media, to not feel so pressured all the time, and that it's okay to take a break. I've done like social media fasts where I would just not be on my phone, do social media for like a week. I haven't done that in a while, but I've done that before, where me and Don would just take a break, or we're having no phones for the weekend. So I mean, it's important to do that sometimes so that you can kind of refocus and see what's truly important in life. Because again, you can get so caught up in scrolling and trying to do so much on social media. Because the thing is, we'll work so hard on one video, we post it. What's next? What's
Right.
next? It's just
Right.
always what's next? What's next?
Right.
What's next? So we're trying to really take our time and just enjoy the now, and to even celebrate the things that are happening now, because we're so quick to achieve something. Okay, so we got this done, what do we do next?
Right.
And it's good to have that ambition and drive, but at the same time celebrate those things,
Absolutely.
really take it in and make it a moment. That's why I love celebrations, I love parties, I make
Yes.
everything bigger than life, even though if it's something that's just seems small. These are moments, and everything is a step up. So I think it's important to celebrate those moments, big or little.
Yeah. Well, you do that also with your friends. I feel like you're
Mm.
very big on celebrating your friends as well. And I do when you're sick and things like that, that rapid response team of Mama V, Mama J,
I
Papa V,
know.
they can take care of the baby. They can bring you soup.
Definitely.
That's what I love.
Yes.
So that Liane doesn't flatline, we
Yeah.
need somebody getting
Yes.
healthy again. So, and besides your parents, besides your family and the concept of a rapid response team, who's on your speed dial when maybe it's not your parents that you want to, confide in, and maybe it's something else that you're just discouraged about? Is it certain friends? Is it, another relative somewhere? Who else would you reach out to that you feel, wow, if when I'm really not doing well, which happens to all of us, this would be who I call if it's not my immediate family?
Well, definitely, clearly my family, Dawn.
Sure.
I do have an amazing group of girlfriends. I think it's important for me to have, my time with my girls and Don has his guys. Like we have our own thing outside of like our relationship. I think it's really healthy and important to have that in a marriage. So, Don has his golfing days, his boy days. I have my go out with the girls and get brunch or get our nails done.
Mhm.
I think that's who I know I can call, especially I can call you. I know you're always here. You and Alon
Always.
are super supportive. And yeah, I think just my friends. I'm very blessed to have really amazing supportive friends. That was one prayer that I prayed so hard before I moved to LA was God, give me the most amazing circle of friends that can be there for me and support and help me through, the challenges in life as, a girl, like trying to figure things out. And this is all still new. Like motherhood is still new to me. I have amazing mother friends that have
Yes.
been super helpful in guiding me through all of the unknown challenges that I've been experiencing through this pregnancy. Every pregnancy is different, and it's good to know that I'm not alone. But yeah, I feel like I have a circle of friends that I can turn to.
That's awesome. Well, not only that, but you are, again, you're such a good friend. I mean,
Thank
you
you.
celebrate, even though you say, oh, I don't, I love celebrations, even if it's not a big party, even if it's not a big party, like everything is so beautiful and so
Thank
amazing.
you.
And you always make everyone around you, feel so
I
special.
think it's a love language. I love celebrating people and I love making people feel special. It feeds my soul to do
Yes.
stuff like that. So
Well, you've
it's
done that even for my daughter. You let her do a little photo shoot,
that was so
at her house
fun.
at your house when, to be quite honest, she really wasn't doing well. And you
Mhm.
made her feel beautiful and you offered that
Oh,
space. And
I love Haley.
yes,
She's grown to be
she
such a
thinks
beautiful
she's
girl.
so cool because she knows you and Dawn.
Oh,
She's always like, does she have any lashes? Does she have
oh my gosh,
to?
of course. Whatever she wants, we're here.
You're
When it
always
comes
just
to
so
that.
so good with that. So one last question. I'm curious. I know you're a bit older. You're not as old as me, but if you could tell your 18-year-old self anything, what would it be? I mean, maybe it's the social, maybe it's a content creator that's, I don't know. What would it be? If you're thinking about somebody younger at 18 who was about to go on the journey you're about to go on,
Yeah.
what would you tell yourself or somebody at that age group?
I would tell my younger self to not care about what people think.
That's
Because
a
I think, like, as soon as you step in a room full of people,
Mm.
you always kind of become more aware of yourself, of feeling like, are they going to judge me? Are they going to like me? Even with social media, there's a lot of social media bullying, and you're always trying to prove yourself. And it's exhausting to always try to feed and give everyone what you think they want and what you want them to portray you as.
Wow.
The best thing that I've learned through this journey is to just be you. And
Mm.
if they don't like it, you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And everyone's not going to be your cup of tea. And it's okay. And I think that's what was really hard for me to swallow because I was, and I'm still working on it, a people pleaser, where I just always want to make everyone happy. And it's impossible to make everyone happy. And I
Absolutely.
had to learn that, especially because I love people. I love my parents. I love my family. And I just always want to make sure everyone's happy. And it's just, Liane, you can't make everyone's
Right.
day. It is what it is. If they're going to go through it, it's okay. And I've learned also that God's going to bring people into your life for seasons, and it's okay if they, leave. It's if
Yes.
they're meant to be in your life,
Yes.
it will not be forced or stressed. And then
Right.
if, and sometimes they leave and come right back.
Yeah.
It's just a part of growth. So I would tell my younger self that because I feel like I cared so much about
Mm.
everyone's opinion about me. And even silently, I wouldn't tell people. I would just think about, okay, if I did this, would this person like me? I don't want them to think this. And even like when it comes to inviting me to certain events now, like I'm pregnant, I'm about to pop this baby out in less than 2 months. And I'm like, I want to go to this party, but I'm so tired. And Dawn's like, this is your time to
Mm.
really say no. You're pregnant. You're
Well, you
going through
still struggle with
changes.
it. So you still, even
Yeah, so
if
it's
you do,
still there's different levels now, and
of
it's
course.
still a challenge for me because
Of course.
I want to be there for people.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
but I'm also learning to say no.
Yes.
And then I feel bad about it and then I just get over it. But
Yes.
that's what I would tell my younger self because I feel like it was harder then.
Yes.
Now it's like I've gotten to a point where I just have to do what's best for me because now I have a daughter
Right.
and like she's my priority. When you
Well,
become a
and
parent, they
yes.
become everything.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. But not only that, but as you know, with having a little girl who's, not a teenager yet, but you think, would I want her worrying about what everybody thinks?
Yeah, no.
Like you don't want to
I
instill
love where
that,
she's
right?
at. And it's
Yes.
amazing because she's
It's
two
a
years old.
childlike heart that God talks about, right?
Yeah, right. And it's just that what my daughter Zaya, she's just herself. And that's why I love kids because they have no
Yes.
filter. It
No
could be
filter.
embarrassing sometimes because they'll say the craziest things,
Yes.
but it's like so beautiful and pure. And that's
Yeah.
why children are just so lovable because they just are so honest. And it's we lose that through time because we just become afraid of and aware of like, oh, I don't want people to think of this or I want people to like me. I want to be cool. I want to fit in. And it's like there's so many people out in the world and not everyone's for you and you're not for everyone and that's okay. You got to do
Yeah.
what's best for you and be real and honest with yourself so that you don't change who you are and your identity for other
Right.
people.
Yeah.
Because especially in this industry and social media, it's like you want to try to paint a picture of what you want to be and then you just end up becoming, not yourself.
Yeah.
So,
It's scary for me too. I mean, even starting this podcast and kind of putting kind of personal things out there. I mean, the only reason why I did it was because I would post certain things that more vulnerable things and people would reach out to me. And I thought maybe people want to hear about parenting a neurodivergent daughter, co-parenting with your ex and being
yeah,
very good
yeah.
friends. But I'll be honest, there's a fear in me. And I've been doing a lot of this inner child work. And what would my little girl want? Like you said, like when I was young, I didn't care. I
Mhm.
I was so carefree and I didn't think about what people thought. At some point you do. But I've been working on this inner child of mine and I started dreaming again and like,
I love that.
little girl want to do? What
That's
makes my
beautiful.
little girl beam? I literally have a picture of myself as a little girl. I was in my little life jacket and I'm so happy in this boat. I mean, it gives me
Aw.
chills thinking about it. And I thought, what would make her happy? What would make her smile like that? But and that's how this kind of all came to be. But I'll be honest, I'm
Beautiful.
like nervous of comments. I mean, somebody wrote something one day of like, no thanks. And I thought, okay, well, you know what?
Listen,
My coach, my mentor, she's like, listen, you're not pizza, not everybody's gonna like you. So I'm not gonna worry about that. I think you have really been an inspiration in that. And I love hearing that you did struggle with it. Like, okay, I'm not crazy because I'm 46 years old. Why would I care what people think at this point in my life? I've come so far, and I wouldn't be doing it right now if I truly cared. But I'd be lying if I didn't say there's something in me. Once you put your life out there, I got to be careful with going through maybe comments. Maybe when this starts to kind of take off, maybe I just shouldn't read
yes.
the comments. Maybe that's probably the
You
the
know, it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow through time. I remember like one of the first things that Daystrom told me, he's like,
Mhm.
you care what people think, don't do this. I'll
Ooh,
say that right now.
wow,
Like,
wow.
just don't. If you care what everyone's gonna say about you, then stop. And I'm
Oh,
like, I don't want to stop though. He's like, then stop caring.
oh,
And it's just real advice,
so true.
and it's like, okay, every successful person, anyone that's ever invented anything or life-changing, they're gonna be talked about. They're
Yes.
gonna be hated on. It is what it is. It's a part of the journey, it's a part of your career, and it's something that you just have to accept and just keep going.
Yeah.
And once you kind of learn how to mute that part and
Mm.
just know to take the good and not to pay attention to the bad. And there's, you'll know if it's constructive criticism. It can be people that you can trust that will
Right.
give you the advice.
And
But
be
everyone
honest.
else, yeah, and understand everyone else is hiding behind their computer saying hurtful things because they're insecure. And it's scary to be where you are. A
Mhm.
lot of people will judge you because they can't do that or they don't want to because it's too scary, to step out their comfort zone. And that's why you're doing the right thing when you feel that it's a calling for you and
Yeah.
you're touching people's lives and people are supporting you, the people that you love and know that want the best for you. So it's just knowing to understand that and you'll be good. It's a part, everyone goes through that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
That's
it's
what I've
Alon and I
learned.
even talk. I mean, even just being a doctor, for him, he's like, people are much more motivated to write negative things. Like when we're
Mm-hmm.
upset, we're much more motivated to write a review about a bad doctor or a bad restaurant. I think it's culture and just kind of nature to not let me say positive things,
Right,
person,
right,
if you have a
right.
good doctor, we don't really necessarily think to like let's write that good review, but if you're ticked off, like you're like let
You're
me
passionate, like I just
let me
want to
find Yelp,
yes.
right? Yeah, so that's the world of
It's
social
true.
media. Yeah.
It's so true.
Well, thank you, Liane. Thanks for being honest and
Thank
vulnerable and being
you.
just such a good friend and just really your whole family's example of humility. Even though I'm older, I've always said like, God, I crave a family like that, right? But you guys took us right in. I literally talked to Mama Jay for like an hour the other day. Lord got our
Oh,
dogs and our
yes.
pets and the babies, and I just love that we're all able to still keep in touch. And I
Yes.
love what you're doing, inspiring young women, and you're keeping it classy and you're
Thank
so
you.
many attributes to look up to. And I really, really admire that. So Zia
Thank
and this
you.
baby boy are so incredibly blessed.
I can't wait.
Love
It's
for you.
gonna be so fun being a boy mom. I'll
Yes.
be calling you for the advice as well, just
Oh
like
gosh.
mommy advice.
Yes,
Just because
absolutely.
I feel like there's always new milestones. Like Zaya's already 2 years old. Like I know Haley went through her teenage years. Like it's a whole different journey. But
Absolutely.
thank you for having me. This is
Yes.
amazing, and I wish you the best of luck and success.
Thank
I feel like this is
you.
going to be such a blessing for everyone because it's great to hear also from your perspective as a nurse and also just such a good person you and Alon are. Like I feel like you can have so many connections through this platform.
Well, thank
I
you.
love
And
it.
you know where to find me, so you can call the
I'll
nurse.
knock at your door right now.
All right, Leah, you take care. I love you
Thank you. I love
too.
you.
Love you. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.